Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeremy Thompson.
This was a targeted attack. One of the suspects was acquaintances, knew the victim.
Tonight on CTV News, arrests made and charges laid in the death of a St. Albert dentist. Good evening. RCMP have charged 2 men in the death of a St. Albert woman whose body was found in a home damaged by fire last month. Police say the men were trying to get money from her. CTV's Evan Kenny reports.
A restoration company works to fix this home in St. Albert, damaged in a fire last month, a fire that revealed a body inside.
RCMP went in and confirmed that MAID, 59-year-old resident of the home, was deceased.
Paul Gagnon lives next door. His dad called 911 when the fire broke out. He says his family would help Diab with maintenance.
We were taking care of her garden in the back and all the walkways for the snow. She was a very kind lady, soft-spoken.
Diab was a dentist. Someone with the same name worked at Windermere Pediatric Dentistry. We tried calling the office.
Thank you for calling Windermere Pediatric Dentistry. The office will be closed for an undetermined amount of time.
We obtained a great deal of really good quality surveillance footage from residents and businesses that really assisted early on.
RCMP have charged Mohammed Orfali with first-degree murder and Mohammed Mansour with indignity to human remains and accessory after the fact to murder.
This was a targeted attack. One of the suspects was acquaintances, knew the victim. We do know, based on our evidence thus far, that there was the ultimate goal was to get money from the victim.
The death and circumstances around it worry neighbors.
It's never a good thing to hear about, you know. It's kind of freaky that something like that could have happened while I was at home, you know, just a couple meters away from the scene.
RCMP would not confirm the cause of death. The 2 accused will appear in court in the coming weeks. Evan Kenny, CTV News, St. Albert.
Data from ankle monitors in Alberta will now be available to more than just law enforcement. If the wearer gets too close to a previous victim, that person will now get a warning. The province says the technology will bring peace of mind to survivors of violent crime. CTV's Connor Hogg has more.
This isn't about offenders' rights, it's about a victim's right to live without looking over their shoulder.
The Alberta government is spending $4.1 million, part of Budget 2026, to make it easier for past victims of crime to know if the perpetrator is close by.
The victims of criminal acts will be able to receive alerts if an accused approaches a restricted location, such as a home or a workplace.
Public Safety Minister Mike Ellis says real-time alerts from ankle bracelet monitors will be sent to the wearer's previous victims if a border is breached.
I've seen actual fear in the victim's eyes, and it's a fear that dictates where they shop, where they work, where they can even feel safe letting their children play in a park.
Advocates for victims of domestic violence say the opt-in policy is a step in the right direction.
I think it's a really important step in systemic change, and we were very pleased to see the announcement of ankle monitoring, last year, and I think this just furthers the commitment.
Put some of that power back in the hands of victims and their families so that they can create safety. It's not about taking away other people's rights, it's about creating that safety.
There's also support from NDP leader Naheed Nenshi, though he says he'll be waiting to see how the government follows through.
We have a serious problem in the province with domestic violence in particular, with increasing rates of violent crime, and the UCP's so-called law and order agenda hasn't really helped very much. So listen, this is a good thing, but it has to be part of a broader anti-crime and public safety strategy.
Ellis says that some of the money could be used to purchase more ankle monitors if they're needed. Danielle Smith says if that's the case, she'll do her best to make it happen.
If the courts decide that they need more, then I'll be putting pressure on Mike to buy more.
Ellis says the new notification technology will be up and running later this year. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
The parents of an Edmonton man shot and killed by a co-worker were hoping to see changes to when convicted murderers could apply for parole. That hope shattered this afternoon as the bill named after their son Brian was defeated in the House of Commons. CTV's Amanda Anderson reports.
We can't bring back our loved ones, but we can try to make subtle changes to our system
That's why Diane and Mike Alisic traveled to Ottawa from Edmonton to see a private member's bill named after their son Brian voted on in the House of Commons. Brian Alisic, a 35-year-old father, was one of 3 armoured car guards killed by a co-worker while servicing an ATM at Hub Mall in 2012. A 4th person shot survived. Travis Baumgartner was sentenced to life in prison without the chance of parole for 40 years for the murders, one of the harshest sentences in Canadian history, until a Supreme Court decision in 2022 that allows him to apply for parole after 25 years.
We know that parole hearings traumatize victims. We do not want victims to be subjected to parole hearings every 12 to 16, 18 months.
As it now stands, if a convicted murderer applies for parole and is denied the first time, he or she can apply for another parole hearing just 1 year later, and year after year after year.
Bill C-243, or Brian's bill, would have spaced out parole hearings to 5 years.
And the House will now proceed to the vote.
Conservative members in the House overwhelmingly voted for the bill.
All those at my right in favor of the motion will please rise. 6th row on my right. Oh, come on. 5th row on my right.
It was a different story on the other side of the House.
I declare the motion defeated.
Brian's bill was defeated, 136 to 192.
The bill isn't about politics. It's about people. It's about victims. It's about families whose lives have been shattered by senseless, brutal violence.
Kerry Diott calls the result disappointing, saying he won't stop pushing the Liberal government on parole reform. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Premier says the earliest Albertans could see relief from the provincial portion of the gas tax would be June 1st. Smith says Alberta is not in a position to do it sooner, especially if oil prices drop drastically again.
Now we're entering a budget year where we already know we're going to face a $9.4 billion deficit with another $1.5 billion that is not going to be available to us. I guess we're just not prepared to take that risk. We haven't realized any surplus revenues for the next budget year, and that's the reason why the legislation is written the way it is.
Smith says her government will look at other affordability measures, but didn't specify what they could be. An Alberta Legislature committee has recommended a new Auditor General. Philip Peters is currently the General Counsel and Ethics Officer within the office. If he does take over, Peters will have to complete a high-profile investigation into questions around health contracts. Current Auditor Doug Wiley was unable to finish that investigation before the end of his term. The opposition NDP claimed the UCP government removed Wiley to protect its own interests. 4 more recall petitions for United Conservative Party MLAs have failed. Elections Alberta deemed a 5th petition targeting a New Democrat invalid for missing the submission deadline. Justice Minister Mickey Amery is the highest profile politician of the bunch. The petition to have him removed got about 5% of the required signatures. So far, 26 recall petitions have failed. 2 still in progress, have until June 10th to collect signatures. An Edmonton man scheduled for a medically assisted death later this week is spending one of his last days advocating for MAID. He says he's horrified by the UCP government's proposed restrictions on MAID, saying no one can understand another person's suffering. CTV's Nicole Weisberg has his story.
On October 5th, 1971, at the Royal Alexander Hospital. What time were you born?
10:10 p.m. My mom told me.
See, who knows?
A meeting between friends spent recounting and reminiscing.
I wore this hat.
It is the hat I mentioned.
I wore like red orange pants. I wore like a red shirt.
Oh my gosh, I
just
swear.
for funsies.
This is one of the last times John Maloney and Barbara Nichols will see each other. John is scheduled for a medically assisted death on Friday.
Knowing John and knowing as he's very organized person that way, right? There is a good possibility. A good likelihood that he would do this once he started doing the research and realized where he was at in his medical condition.
John is blind. His vision loss has been gradual due to cataracts, injury, and glaucoma.
I lost my sight totally in 2021. I was going through sight loss pretty much for my whole life. Actually, my left eye's fake. Sometimes it waters up, so sometimes you'll see me wipe it. So. Also I have what's called Charles Bonnet syndrome. Like right now I see like really weird hallucinations, and they're constant. Like right now when I'm talking to you, I see all these pink floaty lights going all around.
John says the hallucinations are so distracting, it's difficult to work, sleep, even concentrate on conversations. He also has type 2 diabetes and a low thyroid. 2 years ago, he attempted suicide and was revived by paramedics.
It's not about dying, it's about ending the pain.
John then learned he may be eligible for Track 2 MAID. It started in 2021 and is open to those with severe, incurable, and intolerable conditions whose natural death is not reasonably foreseeable. John was approved last month after meeting with 3 assessors.
I saw 3 because 1 actually denied me, and this is why I know it's a good process, because they don't automatically say yes. The other 2, though, they were like, we can't judge your quality of life, and if you don't think you have quality of life anymore, then yeah, then it makes sense.
Since then, John has been getting his affairs in order, including finding a new home for his cats and determining if he can donate his organs. Last week's news, the UCP government plans to prohibit Track 2 MAID, prompted him to share his story.
I want people to be aware of what the government is actually doing. If you have the right to choose to live, then I have the right to choose to die. Right? It's about autonomy. It's about choice.
Here's Turn. Turn.
I love this song. This is the song I think I want to play at my day.
If John doesn't need to be in the hospital for his MAID procedure, he plans to do it in his favorite chair, with friends by his side. He knows what he wants for his last meal and what he wants to hear in his final moments.
I just feel like I'm going to be at peace. Right? And peace is something that I've been searching for years and years and years.
Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Bill 18, the Safeguards for Last Resort Termination of Life Act, passed first reading last week. It must go through 3 readings and a vote before it becomes law. The province says the legislation will not impact anyone previously approved for MAID. Well, police have charged a 56-year-old man with sexual assault against women he met on dating apps. William McMullen is facing a number of charges, including sexual assault, unlawful confinement, and voyeurism. Police say the accused met women on social media apps before inviting them to his home. Investigators allege that's where he drugged and sexually assaulted them. The charges stem from a report from last April. Police are investigating 4 separate incidents. McMullen will appear in court Friday. A 46-year-old man is facing a number of charges after police seized drugs from a home in southeast Edmonton. Police say they found more than $100,000 in drugs at a home near Woodvale Road and 38th Avenue. The seizure includes a gun, fentanyl, meth, GHB, and 2 vials of testosterone. Police say officers also found $4,600 in cash. Edmonton Fire says everyone made it out safely after a townhome went up in flames in North Edmonton. Fire crews were called at about 11 o'clock this morning to the complex at 141 Avenue and 121 Street. Crews say they could see the heavy smoke from blocks away. The district chief says they were able to make sure the fire didn't spread.
Yeah, it was tough. It started in the basement and got into the main floor and top floor and into the roof, so they were able to contain it from both sides with ladders, and there was approximately 28 firefighters on scene, so it was tough with weather conditions, but they did a good job. No one was injured. All occupants were out.
The district chief says the unit is a total loss. Investigators are still looking for a cause. Calgary's mayor says past and current council members are not the target of an RCMP investigation, one that saw search warrants executed at politicians' homes. It includes former Mayor Jyoti Gondek and a sitting city councillor. CTV's Tyson Fedor has the latest.
An RCMP investigation involving a sitting councillor and former members of City Council is becoming a distraction at City Hall.
I believe there's a healthy mistrust in council and in this administration right now. I think that's very important to be skeptical on what goes on here.
A complaint was received by Calgary Police Service last October and passed along to RCMP. But the focus of the investigation is unclear.
Again, the RCMP is the one that has primary carriage of that investigation, so I'm not able to say more than that.
Mayor Jeremy Farkas says he believes the investigation is not targeting Ward 10 Councillor Andre Chabot or former Mayor Jyoti Gondek. Both had their cell phones seized and homes searched. So did former Councillor Sean Chu.
At this point, I understand that they are not the center of the investigation. There's allegations that are leveled against a third party, a local business.
Gondek released a statement saying she is cooperating with the investigation. She says the process has been invasive and that she will review it with her lawyer to see if it was justified.
We're kind of accustomed to expecting accountability and transparency, and the transparency part simply isn't here in this case, and that leads to all kinds of speculation.
Premier Danielle Smith says she's unclear what the investigation is all about.
We just have to wait for the process to play out. It's an active RCMP investigation, but I have no knowledge other than what I'm reading in the newspaper.
But one political expert believes the RCMP need to be more transparent about the investigation.
I think it's incumbent on the RCMP to put to rest any sort of suggestion of involvement in corruption if it is found that in fact these individuals were not involved, but simply sources of information.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
When we come back, an Olympian bobsledder from our province makes good on his promise to mentor an aspiring diver, the sport he used to compete in.
He said, I want to follow up with you. I got to go to Olympics, so be right back. And then he did. And that just like his integrity and who he is.
I think it's a story of mentorship. I would not be where I am today without all the mentors that helped me get here.
Good evening, folks. A cool and snowy day today. Temperatures from Edmonton north in the minus 10 to 15 range for daytime highs. That's about 15 degrees colder than average here in Edmonton. And we get another minus 10-ish day tomorrow. Friday and the weekend should get back closer to zero. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
The Alberta government will spend $20 million over 3 years to subsidize wages for workers in the 15 to 24-year-old age range. The province says the new money, in addition to $8 million committed last year, is expected to help about 3,500 employers hire more than 8,700 young Albertans. Alberta Jobs Minister Joseph Scow says it will help businesses like Patricia Street Deli.
So businesses like the Patricia Street Deli that are embracing the training opportunity, which comes with risks, there's no question, but embracing that, they are building Alberta, they're building the community, and we owe them and businesses just like them a huge debt of gratitude.
Knowing that these young people, they are our future, and so Glenn and I believe that we have an important job to do.
So far, 859 youth have been approved for jobs through the incentive. Well, Connor McDavid reached a new career milestone during last night's game against the Utah Mammoth.
Last year, he's right back on track. Here's a chance. McDavid, a bouncing puck, scores! Connor McDavid with his 400th career goal.
David scored goal number 400 during the second period. He later added an empty netter. David now has 401 career goals in 784 games. With their 5-2 win over Utah, the Oilers passed the Vegas Golden Knights for second in the Pacific Division. Tomorrow night's game against Vegas is big, with the Oilers now ahead by just 1 point.
Yeah, obviously a little extra motivation for those types of games, and it's not quite the playoffs, but it almost feels like that a little bit, and kind of a precursor to the playoffs.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line here, not only for making playoffs, but seeding, and maybe it's a home ice advantage situation hitting playoffs time.
Tomorrow night's game in Las Vegas begins at 7:30. The Edmonton Oil Kings begin their quest to become Western Hockey League champions this Friday. The third-place Oil Kings face the sixth-place Saskatoon Blades in the first round of the WHL playoffs. It's the first time these two teams have met in the playoffs since 2008. The last time the Oil Kings were WHL champions was 2022. Game 1 is Friday at 7 at Rogers Place. A Canadian Olympic bobsledder who traded the pool for the track is now inspiring a girl in Alberta. Fresh off his appearance last month in Milan, the athlete is now fulfilling a promise he made to a 7-year-old to teach her how to dive. CTV's Tyson Fedor has their story.
It's a moment grade 1 student Kaylee Wilshire did not think would happen. Before the Winter Olympics, Kaylee got to introduce a member of Canada's men's bobsled team in front of her school. That's when she became fascinated with Johan Eskrik Parkinson's journey from the water to the ice.
He could do diving, and it doesn't matter which sport you could do, and also it doesn't matter if you can do two things at the exact same time.
Eskrik Parkinson narrowly missed qualifying for Team Jamaica at the 2024 Paralympic Games for diving, so he pursued bobsledding, making his first Olympic appearance this year in Italy. Kaylee connected with his story.
He said, I want to follow up with you. I got to go to Olympics, so be right back. And then he did. And that just like his integrity and who he is.
I think it's a story of mentorship. I would not be where I am today without all the mentors that helped me get here from when I was her age, around when I started diving.
The pair reconnected on the diving board. She started small before moving higher.
Jumping off the 5-high board.
Kaylee loves diving, a sport she one day hopes to compete in at the Olympic level.
You can do lots of cool moves, and that you can also dive headfirst.
Several previous injuries only made her more brave on the diving board high above the water. With each plunge, Kaylee shows no fear.
I cracked my head open 2 times, and also I broke my elbow. But I kept going.
For Eskrik Parkinson, mentoring the next generation in a sport he loved growing up has been rewarding, but not enough for him to possibly think of qualifying for the Games in Los Angeles in 2028.
I think I put on 30 pounds in the last 2 years or so, and getting back into diving would require a complete physique change, a complete mental change. So I think I'm going to stick with bobsled as long as I can.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
Josh Clausen will have your full forecast after the break, and then an Australian dog earns his retirement after a decade spent rescuing koalas from wildfires.
Programming brought to you by Senior Home Care by Angels, Canada's choice in home care.
Welcome back. As we mentioned earlier, about 15 degrees colder than average today. And when you factored in the wind chill, which was in the mid-minus teens most of the day, it was feeling about 20 degrees colder than average. Wind will be down tomorrow, but again, we're going to be in that -9, -10 range for a daytime high under mostly cloudy skies. Through the overnight period, we've got a pocket of some heavier snow coming out of western Alberta and moving off to the east. Red Deer, you could potentially pick up 2 to 4 centimeters of snow. We'll see maybe as much as 2 to 5 for southern parts of the province. And there is a slight chance early tomorrow morning that southern parts of the Edmonton region, maybe even the south side of the city, get grazed with a couple of flurries. No significant snow. In fact, most of the city's probably just going to completely get missed. This will all slide south of us. Mostly cloudy skies through the day, and then late in the day we get a bit of clearing. Mixed sun and cloud for Friday. Some snow moves into the Peace Country. And again, no significant snow, but there is a chance of some light flurries early Saturday morning. I think Monday is our next chance at seeing some heavier accumulating snow. -23 Fort McMurray, -24 in Grand Prairie tomorrow morning. Should be in the mid-minus teens in Edmonton. Back to the -10 range across the northeast tomorrow afternoon. -12 or 13 in through the Peace Country, and about -6 into Edson. Jasper above 0 by a degree or 2. The rest of southern Alberta below 0. Jasper, one of the warm spots in the province. -7 for Red Deer with the chance of some flurries or light snow in the morning, and then cloudy in the afternoon. Here in Edmonton, mostly cloudy, light wind, -9, -1 by Friday. So some sunshine, and still not average, still a handful of degrees colder than average, but a lot better than today and tomorrow. Degree or 2 below 0 for daytime highs under mostly cloudy skies Saturday, Sunday. There's that chance of snow for Monday. Thursday of next week, you might see a little bit of snow, and really not much jump in temperature here. Somewhere in the +2 to -2 range for daytime highs until we hit the Easter weekend. By that point, we should be back to around average and a handful of degrees above 0. But for tomorrow, one more cold and cloudy day. That is your forecast.
An Australian dog hailed as a prolific hero and a very good boy is hanging up his collar. This is Bear, an 11-year-old Australian coolie. He's retiring after a decade of service. He's credited with saving over 100 koalas from wildfires. He was one of the first dogs to be trained on the scent of koala fur to help protect the country's iconic animals as fires threatened their population. And that does it for this edition of CTV News. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night.